Hi, this is a demonstration video for the usage of PyOPLM. PyOPLM is an open source and command line only replacement for the OPL manager, which is a famous program in the PS2 scene. And the reason why I developed this is because I wanted a program that's only on the command line for the management of OPL directories, because there are people who use like Linux servers for the usage of like running SMB servers for sharing games, and the OPL manager is not a very suitable program for that. And I'll be sharing how to use this program both on Windows and Linux. For now, I'll show you how to run it on Linux, but the usage is exactly the same both on Windows and on Linux. So I'll start out here, and then I'll show you how to install it on Windows in the end. So first off, you need to have Python installed because it's a Python application. And after you have Python and also pip installed, you need to install it using the command pip install PyOPLM. I've posted it on pip, so you can just install it like that, and you can use it on Linux. Because on Windows you cannot get it on pip yet. And afterwards, it's just like in your shell, so you can just use it whenever you want. The command PyOPLM now. Even if you cannot use it, you need to find out where Python stores the scripts for the user in your user directory and add that directory to your path. So let's do some very basic commands. So let's list all the games that I have in my OPL directory. So let me write PyOPLM list and the directory where all my games are located. And as you can see, I have these games installed as ISO games and these games installed as pop starter games, because you can also install pop starter games with this one. And I've not installed any UL or USB Extreme games because this is not a USB directory. So, okay, we're done with listing. Let's look at all the commands that PyOPLM has available for us. So you can list all the games, you can add games. This is also easy to do. So I have this directory where I have a bunch of games, and let me try installing all of them. So Shinobi is a DVD game uh, on the PS2. So let me go PyOPLM add. Wait, let me see what kind of commands this command supports first, because I forget once in a while. And you need to put in the directory first and then the source file. So let's go PyOPLM add down or documents PS2SMB. This is where my OPL games are located. And also let me put in the name of the ISO file that I want to install. And it also renames it properly automatically. It finds out the ID of the game and then renames it to this kind of format because it works faster on OPL. And now it's done. Let me remove it from here because it's a bit too much space. And let me install a CD game now. So I have Crash Team Racing over here. Now, as you can see, this comes in the bin and queue format. PyOPLM will automatically convert bin and queue images to ISO files. So if I just run PyOPLM add home/documents, whatever, this is not necessary to always add. I'll show you how to avoid writing that every time. And then also link it to the queue file, because you cannot just install bin files. You need to reference the queue file for these kinds of installations. Now, as you can see, it's going to run bchunk, convert it to an ISO file, and then install it, and also fix its name. So this is its like CD game installation capability. Now I can probably remove both of these as well. I don't want to, because I want to keep them for testing. And I also have a PS1 game, which I'm gonna be installing right now, because I also have like conversion to VCD abilities in this program, and also installation of pop starter games. So if I go PyOPLM add -p, because now we're indicating that we're installing a PlayStation 1 game, and we select first off we need to show it the fucking OPL directory, which is this one, and then we select the queue file. So I'm gonna just do this because I'm on Linux, and it's gonna merge all the tracks using bin merge, and then it's gonna install it properly. It's going to turn it to VCD. It's also gonna do the Q2pops process, and then it's gonna save it to my OPL directory. Now, if I run PyOPLM list my games, you'll see that Pac-Man World has also been added to my PlayStation 1 game list, and Shinobi has been added to my PlayStation 2 game list. Now, let me also have a look at the other commands that I have. So we can also remove games. by using the PyOPLM delete command. So let me run PyOPLM delete from this directory, ps2smb. Now, if I try deleting a game, I'm going to have to find out its region code. So you delete games by their unique region codes. Now, if I want to delete Pac-Man World over here, I just copy its region code, paste it over here, and it's gonna get deleted. Ah, okay, it doesn't matter much, this error. It's something I haven't handled, but it's no big deal. I'll fix that in the future updates. Now, the game has been removed. If I do PyOPLM list everything, you'll see that it's no longer here. That error was because I also tried to delete the saves and the cheats and everything, but it's okay. Like it doesn't do anything to the process. Now, these were like the basic commands. We can also do renaming, which works exactly the same way. Rename the document. Let me just link to my OPL directory. I want to rename this game to, okay, I kind of deleted this game. Wait, let me relist the games. Let me just find something to rename. Let me rename this one. So let's look at what PyOPL rename sets. So it takes the OPL directory first, so documents / ps2smb. Then you put in the ID and then the new title. This one is just named Bugs. This game is actually Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Buster. So let me just give it a more descriptive name. So Bugs and Taz Time Busters. As we can see, it said it renamed it, and if we do list, it actually renames the game. Now, if I run PyOPLM again, you'll see that we don't really have many commands left. So if I run PyOPLM fix, and I give it the OPL directory again, this is again not necessary. I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. Nothing needs to be fixed. That's why I didn't do too much. Like what fixing does, it just deletes like corrupted UL entries, fixes the ul.cfg file if you have like a USB, and also it renames games to the OPL naming convention. Now it's also, this one can also install UL games. I'm not gonna do it on my SMB drive, but if you want to install a UL game somewhere, it's easy. Instead of doing dash, if instead of just installing it like this is the OPL drive and this is the Q file name or the ISO file name, you do --ul and it's going to convert it to a USB Extreme format and it's going to work on USBs as well. Now, let me talk about the artwork downloading and the title updating capabilities of PyOPLM. Now, if I go over to my OPL directory, you'll see that I have this file called pyoplm.ini. Now, there is a example of this one over at the GitHub repository for this program. I'll have that in my description of this video. And if we open this file up, you'll see that there are only two keys. Now, one key is called storage and one key is called indexing for the storage. And over here, you put in the location of a like OPLM art backup. Because what I use for like art, because this is an open source program and I don't want to involve it with like, I don't want to have to host a server myself and then track everyone who uses it, etc. You're going to have to either download all of the art that Daniel B has posted in his archive.org backups. I'll also link his backups in my description over here. Like they basically come as like zip files and you have to unzip them and store them somewhere. That's what I've done over here. Or you can have them on like a static storage program. Like for example, Google Cloud has the storage buckets, and you can unzip this file and upload it on a cloud bucket storage and make it public so that the program can see, and you just link it over here in location, and you can also use like an online cloud storage. But for this, I don't want to share my personal storage, so I'm not going to use it over here, but I usually use an online storage. And also the storage.indexing key is very useful because if you're using a local storage, it doesn't make much of a difference. But if you're using an online one, it's best to use this key because it makes everything like 10 times faster. And what you should do is there's a link on there's like this essentially how you perform indexing. There's a tutorial for it over in my repository. I'll link that in the description too. You can have a look at it. I've put pictures and everything, and there's like a descriptive tutorial as to how to do it. So I'm not going to do it in this video, but you can look at my GitHub repository and see how it's done. And this is important because after you have created these two keys, you are allowed to, okay, you can just use this key, but after adding this ini file and putting this key over here, you are allowed to download artwork files and also get titles from a title database. Now, the first time you run the program, it's going to index it if you have an index, if you have put in an index link over here. And if the indexing is successful, you're going to have this file over here, which is going to make things 10 times faster. Don't delete this one after the program creates it. Now, in order to download artwork, what you can do is go PyOPLM storage, basically. Over here, in the storage subcommand, you have all the commands that are related to the storage, which I'm using here. And you can either have artwork commands in here or title commands. Now, if I just go PyOPLM storage artwork, you'll see that it's just going to download artwork for all the games that I have installed over here. And it does actually work. If I go over to the art directory over here, everything is properly downloaded. And these work on OPL. And if I also, wait, let me see all the commands that are available over here. So let's see. Okay, so it also has the rename command. Wait, rename. It's going to rename everything to the titles that it has in the database that comes with this program. So as you can see over here, the title Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 FES is a bit too long, so it's just going to keep the old title that I had over here. And it says here that it's skipping it, but everything else that had proper names, it was renamed to the database titles, and they're usually very accurate. And there's, I think, one more functionality to it. Wait, let me. Okay. We also have the binary tools. Now, this is just a low-level command to allow you to, like, wait, bin tools help. The point of this is to allow you to access the bin to ISO, bin merge, and Q2POPs programs directly in case you want to use them, but I would not recommend you do this because PyOPLM already manages the usage of all these programs well. And these are just a convenience tool, and you can also have a look at their licenses and everything over here. I've also credited anyone who has made these programs in this help file. So yeah, the point of this was to just credit all the developers who have made these apps. Now, this is essentially how you use it, but if you just want to not use this OPL directory parameter over here, because this is a bit of a pain in the ass to always write, what you should do is you should export a environment variable named PyOPLM-OPL directory. Wait, I just accidentally did that. Okay, and as you can see over here, I have just written the directory where my OPL games are located. You should do the same in Windows, but okay, on Windows this is done automatically actually, but on Linux this is just done by adding an environment variable to your shell configuration. Now I have fish, so I added it to my fish configuration, but if you have bash or any other commands, any other command line, sorry, any other shell, you should be able to add it to the startup configuration. Now I'm going to go on Windows and I'm going to show you how to install it on Windows as well. So okay, so we are now on Windows and I'm going to show you how to make this program run on Windows as well. So you need to go to this repository on GitHub. I'm going to be linking this in the description and you need to download this zip file. You click the code button and download the zip right here. Now, this is like a small 6 kilobyte archive, but the program is going to be a little bit larger once this is finished because you also need to install Docker to get this one to work. So I'm going to be extracting this on this Git folder. I already had it there, but you know, just for demonstration purposes, I did it anyways. Now, let me close all this stuff down. So first off, what you must do is you must open up PowerShell as an administrator, because by default, if you have not enabled scripts on a system, you'll not be able to run PowerShell scripts. Now, once you've opened it as an administrator, you need to write this command. So let's wait for it to open a moment. So you're supposed to write set execution policy. You can hit tab to autocomplete it. And remote signed. This will allow you, you should press yes over here. This will allow you to actually run scripts on this system from now on. Now let's open up PowerShell normally, because this is how you usually interact with that program. Uh, let's actually open it from the Explorer, and you're supposed to hit Shift and right click. You'll have the option to open a PowerShell window here. Now, as you can see, a PowerShell window is opened, and it's in the directory that we opened it in. This is how you see the directory. And now, in order to run the scripts, we just write PyOPL and we hit tab, and it's going to autocomplete to the name of the script. If we run it now, though, we're going to get a bunch of errors because the Docker daemon is not running. Or if you don't have Docker installed yet at all, it's just going to like throw all sorts of errors saying that it doesn't know what Docker is. So you need to install Docker Desktop first. Now, once you have installed, you just need to run it. Run the desktop app, the one with the GUI first, because it's a requirement for running Linux containers on Windows. Now, let's wait for it to open a moment. Okay, so Docker has started. It takes a little bit to run, but it's okay. Now, if we run this command, now as you can see, it built an image because it needs to build an image on the first run, and then it just ran the program normally. Now, how you use this is you just use this the exact same way that we used it on Linux. You don't need to supply an OPL directory over here. It's automatic, and if you supply it, it's gonna fail. So do not supply an OPL directory in this version. And also, most of the commands on here work, so there is no problem with most of the commands except for bin tools, because I didn't bother implementing this because adding already uses all the tools over here automatically, and it would also be extra code, so I didn't bother. And there is also one more command that isn't listed on here, which is the upgrade command or update. And if you run this one, it's just going to rebuild the image again, because if you just keep the same image, you're going to be stuck with an older version of PyOPLM, and it's best to keep updating it often, not every time, but often, so that you can know that you're on the latest version of this program. And this should all be the same, really. I don't think I have any images to test this right now, but it definitely works. So yeah, you just use it the same way that we used it on Linux. And in order to have it installed as a permanent command on the shell, there's this script called install.ps1, and you just run it, and it's already installed. It even has like a bit of text over here telling you what's going on. And if I close this shell now, so because you need to restart the shell to see the changes, and I open up PowerShell again, you'll see that I don't need to be in the same directory with the script anymore, or I can just run PyOPLM directly. Wait, PyOPLM. And it's just gonna work directly. Now you can run this command anywhere you are on the shell and you should be fine. So yeah, this was the usage guide for this program. Thank you for watching and using my program.